moments between you and Garrett, obviously when you're scoring a lot of points. Just him as a coach, how good does it feel to see him finally have some success, and how do you feel like he handled some of the struggles when you guys were not?
That's great. I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, last year we missed a lot of opportunities. We had some, it was frustrating to not, because again, we see things differently than when this is what you do every single day, than maybe just the person on the outside looking in. And we know our players, and we know how close we've been on some things. So it's fun to see them put it together. It's fun to see them take the next step. But we saw this in the spring. We saw this in the spring. We saw this in the summer. We saw this in fall camp. So it's just great for it to come to fruition, and to see so many guys being involved, so many guys that can really play, and not having to kind of patch some things together. We've been fortunate to this point, and hopefully we can continue to have a little luck with a couple key spots. But I mean, it's been great. I mean, and that's what you should get better. And we've taken another step, but again, now it's about just really developing the consistency week in and week out. I wish I could say we're going to score 60 points every game, but that'd be great. Sign me up for that. But I just want to see us be consistent, continue to play with the type of effort, the type of details. Again, consistently make the routine plays. Playmakers continue to make some great plays and be able to run the football. We can run the football the way we're running the football, good stuff's going to happen. And then our quarterback just really playing at a high level from a decision-making standpoint. He's playing with a lot of confidence. So just want to continue to nurture that, and that'll give us a chance every single week, because I think defensively we're going to continue to get better. That first group's pretty good, and we'll keep getting better.
How did Garrett kind of keep that buy-in there? I mean, when obviously you're not scoring a ton of points last year, I mean, what was it about him as a leader of the offense that allowed?
Again, we see it. I mean, it's just coaching. I mean, again, we saw progress, even though sometimes maybe other people, it's not always what you see. Progress isn't always what you see. Sometimes it's kind of unseen, but you see it coming. Like, and the way we finished the season last year was a huge step forward for us. And you could see the guys kind of coming on, and the belief that was coming, and we just built on it. But I mean, it's just coaching. Sometimes you got a young quarterback that's getting the first year, and there's going to be some growing. There's always growing pains. Not everybody's going to walk in and day one and be this amazing quarterback at this level. And same thing at the next level. I mean, sometimes, but if that's the standard, you're gonna fire a lot of quarterbacks quick. So it's just sometimes you just got to be patient, especially when you know that you got a really talented player, and you see the work that's being put in.
Knowing what you've known all along about your team, and what you're saying now about these things are developing, and you go back to after the Georgia game where you were widely criticized, and people were saying the game had passed you by. You don't recruit out of the transfer portal. One guy criticized your offense for its racial makeup, didn't have a particular type of person.
I'm glad I don't read none of that or listen to it.
So my question
was that on your show, or was that you?
Not me, no. ACC. It was one of your ACC network guys.
Oh.
Anyway, wrote it on.
I'm glad I don't listen to none of that.
On Twitter.
That's a different Roddy, just to let you know. That's not ACC network. Yeah.
Roddy White.
Right. So,
what's the question? I have no idea where you're going with this. I could care less what people say.
Yeah. My question is, do you at this point kind of like want to stick it in?
No, man.
Listen. Look at us.
No, I could care less about any of that stuff. People say what they want to say. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't read any of it. I don't listen to it. I don't let any of that in my mind. I just focus on doing my job every day. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody, man. I'm just trying to love these guys here, man. I'm just trying to do my job and do what's best for Clemson day in and day out, put these guys in the best position to go win. Ain't worried about none of that stuff. People say whatever they want. I don't need validation from anybody. I know who I am. I know whose I am. I know where I've been, where I've come from, where I'm going. So none of that stuff affects me or bothers me at all. People say whatever. That's the world we have right now. We've created a society where it's just normal to attack people, destroy people, make stuff up, create narratives. That's just the society we live in. And so you have to choose as a person whether or not you're going to let that type of stuff affect you, or you just rise above it and focus on what you know and what matters. But I don't participate in any of that stuff, so that doesn't matter to me. I could care less. You know, I mean, you can go back and look at our national championship game in 2016. I guarantee you the first half of that game, there was probably a ton of negativity, a ton of awful things being said on social media, you know, because we're down 14-0 and all this stuff. And so it's like I tell my guys, it ain't about what people say, it's about what we do. And what we do is a reflection of what we believe. That's all that matters. That's really what it should matter for everybody. It's not about what you say, it's not about what they say, it's about what you do. And again, what you do is a reflection of what you believe, because what you believe, growth follows belief. You know, your belief is going to drive your habits, and you know, how you think, half full, half empty, you know, and you know, you know, you got to create a belief that's greater than your fear that you can't do something. Your belief that you can has to be greater than your fear that you can't. And if you participate in all that stuff and you let all that stuff and you live your life from the outside in, you ain't doing nothing great in life. Because you ain't going to take any risks, because you're afraid of criticism, you're afraid of this and that, you ain't going to have any convictions on anything, you got to please everybody, and oh gosh, don't say something bad about me, I better do this and that. That ain't no way to live life. But again, we've just created, that's just our society. It's sad. It's just okay. It's just, we've just made it normal. It's okay to just attack people, destroy people, or try to make stuff up, no accountability. Like when, you know, even in I mean, listen, when I was a young coach, I mean, sometimes a reporter, you know, beat writers, you know, something may be coming out, and, you know, back in those days, guys would call you, or they'd come up to you and say, hey, look, I'm fixing to run this story. I just want to make sure I got it right. And you had like a little bit of like some respect in that. Now, people just write stuff that they heard from their Aunt Jean at the grocery store. I heard, you know, my coach, Billy Tohill, he told me something when I was in high school. He said, I heard and they said are the two biggest liars in America. He taught me that early on. This is before social media. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's sad, and especially when you're dealing with young people. And just, you know, the way we have made it almost celebrated to attack people. And just, I mean, it's sad. I mean, it really is. And especially for the young people, because that's their world. That ain't my world. That's their world. And, you know, it is what it is. So, but the good news is everybody has a decision. Everybody has a choice on what you let into your world. You don't have to participate in that stuff. So that's why you got to build your life on a strong foundation and know what's real and what's not. But yeah, it's the first time I've heard that. I don't know. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm trying to beat Stanford this week. That's all I care about. Trying to continue to have a great program and fulfill the purpose, you know, that we have as a program and what I have as a man.
Seems like y'all have faced a lot of pre-snap shifts and motions and stuff, particularly with NC State and Georgia. How do you think? What's the assessment of how y'all have handled, how the defense has handled that?
We've gotten better. We've gotten better. You know, we had the big bust in the first game on the fake jet, and we checked the defense, and then they just run switch verts and guys wide open, you know, because we don't have eyes on two. I mean, you know, it was a good, you know, because they were running the jet, and we were trying to, they out-leveraged us there. But that we've gotten better. We got our first group's really gotten better. They got us on a wheel route the other day, and that was just a, you know, execution of the coverage technique and you know, eyes on the right spot and how we should adjust the coverage based on the release of the route concept. But they're doing a nice job. You know, again, I played a team this past week that creates a lot of problems. They create a lot of problems from that with their stretch and all the play action and the boots and the formational stuff that they do. And I mean, it's 59-14, into the fourth quarter. And again, it's 59-7, with our good guys out there. So I'd say they've gotten better and did a better job. We did, so just got to continue to teach and, again, hopefully stay healthy in a couple key spots.
You mentioned how Coach Riley kind of grown from last year to this year. Is coaching development kind of similar to player development where they won't put it together that first year and it takes time and repetition and consistency?
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, we all develop. We all get better with experience. There's no greater teacher than experience, and doing life together. Especially when you're on a team in a team environment like we're in. There's no doubt we all grow. I grow every year, get better every year. And I think that's on everybody to do that. It's just a natural thing.
Dabo, we talk so much about Cade's confidence, and he's been experiencing such positive limelight these past 2 weeks. I guess, what do you know about him? What do you see every day in practice that lets you know that even though he's confident, he's got some swagger now, that doesn't go to his head?
Yeah, just keep doing the same things you've been doing. I mean, he's the same guy every day. He wasn't any different Monday after the Georgia game than he was this Monday after NC State. And that's the quality you want to see in your quarterback. You got to block out all the noise, whether it's bad or it's good. None of that stuff is good for you. Just lock in on and fall in love with the preparation, because that's what it takes. I mean, it's fun to win. Okay, can you go win again? That's what you gotta love. And understanding that. And I think he's got a good understanding. It's good for him, what he went through last year and what he had to battle through, because the kid really hadn't had a lot of football adversity. I don't think he'd really had a lot of criticism. Kind of all gone perfect for him. And so he's got a good balance, and he understands that, it can turn just like that. Like I said, you could probably go back to the first half of our Alabama game and read all the social media. It was probably awful. We're the worst in the history of football. But by the end of the quarter, those same people were talking about how great you are. So none of that stuff matters. You just got to lock in on what you're doing, all right, and be committed to doing what it takes week in and week out. And he's got he's got a routine, and routines are very important on how you get yourself ready. But his spirit at practice every day, I mean, the way he comes to work, the way he's grown as a leader, it's fun. I mean, you're just seeing a transformation of a young player growing into a more mature, seasoned veteran. And it doesn't mean he's not going to make mistakes or make a stupid play. That's not reality. But you just want to continue to see the consistency develop, and that will come with the consistency in preparation. That will come. So, I mean, he's got a good feel for it, but, we just continue to keep the main thing. And today's Tuesday. We know what our Tuesday focus is. Let's go get after it today. And, just put your head down and go to work, put the work in. At the end of the season, you count them all up and you keep going.
Coach, there seems to be an up-tempo to the offense. Is that from Cade's confidence building, or is that designed to get him more confidence?
It's from success, rhythm. It's really it. I mean, you can drive the tempo when you're creating rhythm in what you do, and you're mixing it up, and you're getting first downs. You've got confidence in and certainly confidence in what you're doing at quarterback. But the main thing is just we're playing with precision. We're playing explosive. We're running the football at a high level, and so when you've got all that working, you can really drive the tempo as you want. We did even a little huddle the other day. We kind of did a little bit of that. So I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, but we certainly want to play fast when the opportunity presents itself.
What's your assessment of Kyle Griffin so far through 3 games?
Getting better. Struggled in the first game. He didn't struggle. I mean, he did everything he needed to do. He just missed some critical tackles in the first game, and but he's he's a steady player. You know, another young guy. You know, he's a redshirt sophomore and got some good experience last year. And he's a kid that's really smart, understands you know, how to play, and he's got good physical attributes. Really good athlete, and so just continuing to become a consistent finisher, play in and play out. That's where we need him to continue to grow, and he's doing that.
Seems like Koval has been really active so far this year.
Yeah, it's been good to get him back. You know, obviously he got hurt last year, and he was actually going to start the game the week that he got hurt in practice. He was actually going to, you know, so he was making good progress. So he's done a nice job. You know, obviously he can play safety, but we've been kind of rolling him in there at nickel a good bit. He and getting Shelton back last week was great as well, and getting him, continuing to ramp him up a little bit. He also got to play a little bit of corner, so that was good for him. But you know, Koval's a guy he's just a good football player. I mean, he can run. He's physical. He's got some things he's got to improve on, but you know, he's a guy hasn't played a ton, so he's playing himself into, you know, a more consistent player.
You know, it's early, but you said on your radio show last night you expect most of the offense back next year, minus 2 or 3 guys. You'd put Cade in that category based on just what you're feeling right now?
Yeah, I don't know why wouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, he needs to just beat Stanford. Worry about all that stuff, but yeah, I mean, he's a junior. I don't expect. I mean, you know, those are always. You may have somebody that may just, you know, want to move on somewhere else. I mean, you never know. But just, you know, our anticipation and just where we are on paper. I mean, we know we're going to lose Marcus and Brenny and Phil, but outside of that, you know, we expect everybody back. So got a chance to, you know, we're building good momentum with this group, and more on the way. And same thing defensively. You know, we've got a couple guys that probably have a decision to make, but you know, we know we're going to lose RJ. We know we're going to lose Barrett. We know we're going to lose Peyton. You know, and outside of that, we'll see.
I guess how much easier has it been to recruit now that those COVID years are pretty much out the door?
You talking about like with the 6-year stuff?
I mean, obviously you have the house.
Well, I mean, it's just we've just all gotten used to it now, you know, because what helped was the portal. You know, because guys had opportunities to move on and things like that. So, you know, that actually kind of helped on some of the 6-year stuff, because, you know, at least you pretty much knew. We don't have many surprises in our program. We pretty much have a good feel for, you know, what's going on and who's staying, who's leaving, all those type of stuff. But you know, it's still out there. I guess this is the last year. Or maybe there's one more year. I think next year's the last year, I guess. We got some guys that could come back for a 6-year next year, or a 5th year based on if they played in 20 or a freshman or whatever. So it hadn't been a problem for us.
I think tight end Olsen Pat Henry jumped to number 2 on your initial depth chart yesterday. What have you seen from him over the past 2 games?
He's just really playing well. I mean, he's all the, you know, we really like our tight end room. We feel really good about the talent there and the development that we see coming with our guys. But I mean, he's playing really physical. He's really grown as a blocker, and just, you know, doing his job at a high level for us. You know, so really pleased with him and Sapp. You know, those 3 guys have kind of, you know, really given us a nice group. And then Marcus continues to come. Bentoncourt's a guy that we're super excited about. So we got a good group there.
What do you hope to see out of Sammy Brown over the next few weeks?
Just continue to grow and learn. You know, clean up some of the mistakes. He had some mistakes the other day. You know, should have been over the top. Should have fell back. Missed a tackle. I mean, you know, just some football stuff but he's playing fast. He, you know, when he makes a mistake, he's full speed. You know, just continue. He created a winner. So that's the first step. You know, he wasn't perfect, but he did create a winner. So just cleaning up some of the details, and that's the main thing. Just keep coming. Just keep growing. I mean, you know, he's just a young, talented player that going to keep getting better and better. You know, as he gets experience.
Coach, you mentioned the sellouts earlier. Is there any difference in the atmosphere in Death Valley from a night game to a midday game that you've noticed?
No. Noise is noise. Our fans are awesome, regardless of when we kick off. That's something I think that, we've won a lot of games. I think we lead the nation in winning percentage all the way back to 2011 or so. I think we're tied with Alabama, and that's we've had some good players, but our fans are a big part of that. They're no question. So whether we've played at noon, we've won some big games at noon, we've won big games at night, we've won big games at 3 o'clock. So I think our fans have grown accustomed to, just like I've tried to teach our team, it shouldn't matter where we play, what time we play, what we wear, what TV channel we're on, or what the weather is. Let's show up, and it's about how we play. And, that's something that has served us well over the years, just focusing on how we play the game. And I think our fans have bought into that. And, they've shown up. They've given us unbelievable support year in and year out. And to have the best home winning record in the country over the last 13 years, that's something we're really proud of. You can't be a great team if you don't win at home. Good teams win at home. Great teams can win on the road too. But it starts with being able to win at home. You got no chance to be a great team if you can't win at home. And so the environment that we have is second to none. The atmosphere, it's special. And our fans, they show up. They show up. A lot of them come a long way, and from pregame all the way, to gathering at the Paw. It's an awesome spirit here at Clemson.
With that said, you're going for your 100th win this week in the Valley. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Ross, thank Ross for that, letting me know that. That's pretty awesome. I thought last week was really cool to be a part of 800, and I didn't know this either until I looked at his. I was here for 600, 700, and 800. I was obviously the receiver coach at Win 600, and then was I the head coach at 700? I guess I was. Yeah, because that was like 12 or something, and then 800. To be a part of, that's pretty cool. But 100 home wins. I guess that's great. It just means I've been able to be here a long time, and we've been able to win at home a lot of games. So it's a blessing. A lot of great players, a lot of great coaches, and unbelievable fan support. All help make that happen.
What's your best memory of those 99 wins right now?
Well, the first one against South Carolina. It wasn't my first home win, but it was. I probably don't get the job if we don't win that game in 2008. So that was pretty. I won't ever forget that one. I'll never probably 2009. Winning on the kick there to send us to win our first division. That was pretty cool to be a part of, and beating in 11, I guess, when we had to. Nobody had ever won 3 ranked games, and schedule came out and we got Auburn, Florida State, and Virginia Tech, and beating Auburn and Florida State. That was kind of building momentum within that season. A bunch of great wins, man. Notre Dame obviously was the one you'll never forget in a hurricane in 2015. Had some great battles with Lamar Jackson that you just held your breath on every time he had the ball. So a lot of great moments over the years. Last year's Notre Dame game was really special, because you really saw the fight in our team and the heart of our team. They're all special, but I try to forget them bad ones. Unfortunately, you can't.
You've talked about Hoffler and Lawson flashing.
Yep.
It feels like they're complementary a little bit. Do you see them that way, and how would you assess their play in Peter's absence?
Yeah, they're growing. Jaheim is a kid that didn't show up here physically where he needed to be, and he's been putting the work in. He's a redshirt sophomore. His body's 250. He can really do everything we need him to do now. He couldn't early part of his career, and he had to really work. Hoffler showed up here physically looking the part. But just needed him, technically scheme-wise to grow and develop. And he's doing that. He's playing fast. He's a physical kid. So they both can. He's a little longer than Jaheim, but they can both do what we need them to do. They can be good players for us. So we're really pleased with their development. And it's important to both of them. But they both got good motors. So it's a good situation. Armand's another kid that you see him play. He's never played. I mean, he was gonna play last year, and then tore his ACL in camp, and so he's never really played. And so he's a guy that, that's got some ability as well. That's same thing. He showed up here about, I don't know, maybe 200 pounds, and he's developed. I mean, he's a kid that's if he'll just keep coming, he just doesn't have much experience to lean on as a defensive end, and certainly not at this level. So we like our group. Those guys are creating some good depth for us, and get Peter back, and we feel good about those guys up front. Trey Williams is playing well for us. It's good. He's a kid. Those of you that are really familiar with him and his journey and all the time that he's missed, I mean, it's awesome to be able to see him, out there playing week in and week out, and being able to, make some plays like he's making. It's been really good.
Coach, with Trevor Lawrence struggling 0-3, Deshaun Watson 1-2 with your former quarterbacks, have you reached out to them or thought about reaching out for any encouragement in the NFL season?
I communicate with those guys, all the time, whether it's they're 1-2 or 3-0. They'll be fine. I mean, those guys are good players. It's a team sport. They certainly know their roles. And long season. Don't cash the chips in yet. Just keep going.
Any questions for Coach virtually? Anybody else in the room?
Last time Stanford and Clemson played was 1986. What were you up to?
1986. December 1886. So that would have been my junior year of high school, because I graduated May of '88. Shout out, class of '88. So I graduated. Most of y'all weren't born, but I graduated May of '88. So yeah, December of '86 would have been my junior year. So December, I was playing basketball for the mighty Pelham Panthers. I was knocking down some J's for the Panthers for Paul Kellogg, and having a ball doing it, and then roll right into baseball after that.
Is that like a Christmas tournament or something?
Yeah, we'd play the Big Orange Classic at Berry High School. It's now called Hoover High School, but it was called Berry. And so we'd play the Big Orange Classic, and every single year. But yeah, those were great times, man. December of '86. Yeah, junior year. There's a lot going on in my young life at that time.
Anybody else forgot?
Last night on your radio show, you talked about the rev share coming. You thought that'd be a better situation for Clemson.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because we don't have to go raise the money. You don't have, it's because you can't share the money that you have right now. You got to go raise the money, and so that's hard. It's hard. So it's just it's going to be a way better situation for sure, and create more clarity for everybody because everybody's got the same amount of rev share. So that's going to be a real positive for us, because again we have the money, so we'll be able to legally share it, which will be great. It'll be great for us, be great for the players. It's going to be awesome.
How much clarity do you have at this point that you can actually share with recruits about what it's going to look like?
Not full clarity, because there's still some things. I think there's another meeting this Thursday, but I think where we think it's heading, I think by December or earlier we'll have pretty good clarity, because once we know what the number is, then it's just kind of up to each school and how you divvy it up and share it. So that we'll certainly have clarity on that once we get some finality.
Talk about the fundraising piece right now being a challenge. Do you think that's specific to Clemson or just any school?
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's hard for everybody. Because again, you're going to the same donors. that support everything, and so it's because it's again, the money's there, but you can't use it, so you got to